What up, my Zillions? Welcome back to Ultrazilla Toys, and this is my comparison video of the SH Monsterarts and Neca Godzilla 2019, aka Godzilla King of the Monsters. Here they are, the two kaiju, alpha kaiju in question. And I got some things to talk about, guys, even ahead of really looking at these guys, because I am kind of getting out of doing comparison videos. This might be my last one. I don't know, you know. The thing is, these get really good views. Ask anybody that does them, they do get good views, and that is a reason to do them. But for me personally, as a person, I'm just kind of getting tired of the comparisons. Just buy what you like, you know? You have your own opinion about this. You can only speak for yourself, for your wallet, for your aesthetics, you know, it's all relative to you as the individual. All this does is rile up the community even more. The communities, depending on which one. I've seen a lot of different reviewers do a lot of different comparison videos between various figures. It's usually something important, something domestic. And the comparisons aren't that close. I know a lot of folks are not going to want to hear this, but more often than not, the import is of a higher quality. It's not just a price point, guys. There's a plastic feel that I've always mentioned that's a better quality than stuff that we get here domestically. There's a reason for that price point. These are cheaper plastics than this. So that's always going to be factored in there. Some folks don't care about that. For me, a feel of a figure is very important, you know. So I mean, I'm jumping right into my thing here. This is gonna be straight through, no crazy cuts. We're just gonna talk. We're just gonna do this. Again, I'm just not feeling the need for these things anymore. The SH Monsterarts is of a higher quality. Get that out of the way. That's what I'm saying. But that shouldn't deter you, you know, from, you know, it shouldn't make you feel bad. One of the about getting the Neca or whatever, this is, you know, I was gonna say this is a good figure, but usually they are good figures. Go check out my G62 comparisons, and the Neca is actually really good, and you're totally justified if you say that that one's better than the SH Monsterarts. Ultimately, I chose the SH Monsterarts in that video as well, because, spoiler, I'm doing that here too. I like the SH Monsterarts more. And this shouldn't be a surprise if you watched my reviews of these guys. I just like this one better. I did. So, that's another reason why. I already said it. But I figured we'd beat the dead horse here once again. The sculpt is good on both. Very good, you know, I'd say even there's things about the Neca that I like more. I love his dorsal fins a lot more than the SH Monsterarts. I do. I think it's really good. Otherwise, I'd feel like the sculpts are pretty good. The cool thing is here, you get a pretty much completely new sculpt. I do know Yuji Sakai went into the file here of the G14 and tweaked it, but I compared this to the G14, and it's very hard to find a lot of similar places. Whereas here, you could see a lot of the same sculpt reused from the G14. Now, you know, that is what it is as well, but, you know, I do prefer overall this, but I do like the spikes here. And overall, because I like this head, which turned out a little small, I think, maybe, but I do feel that adds to it. I like the head a lot more here than I do here. The jaw is so off on this. and so awful, honestly, that it just ruins the figure for me. And so overall, I do like this one in Sculpt better than this, but the dorsal fins here I do enjoy more. Now the paint, and we'll like start at the head, which is what I was talking about. The paint is messed up on the mouth on this. The eyes are, you know, not good. You know, in my review, I kind of let it go, but honestly, in the time since I've done this review, it's kind of worn on me a little bit, because it just kind of ends up being goofy. Whereas here, my eyes are good on my SH Monsterarts, so that works, and the paint is fine on the teeth and in the mouth, so I don't have any issue with that in that regard. This has a lot of other paint on it, but I don't see this as accurate to what I see in the movie. Maybe it's accurate to the file that they used, but this looks more like what I see on screen. It does have a wash on it as well. It's a little more subtle, and I appreciate that, whereas this one just looks really dusty, and you never see it looking like this in the movie that I recall. So that is, you know, also a little bit of a difference from what I felt like when I did the review, because it just makes me like it a little bit less, you know, and this has the benefit of me having seen the movie. So in that regard, I end up liking the paint more in here, but I do appreciate, and I always do, I do appreciate the amount of work that goes into Neca's paintings. It's good, you know, except when you get like the fine detail, but overall it's really nice in those regards. So there you go, you know, that's something to hang your hat on there. But overall, man, the paint, the eyes, and this is, you know, like, I don't like to talk in reviews, I'll say this, in reviews I don't like to talk about, you know, other people's figures. I just like to talk about my own. But in general, from what I've seen, and this is just a general statement, I've seen a lot more people with like bad NECAs than bad SH Monsterarts. Not saying there hasn't been any bad ones, because there's definitely been bad ones of this I've seen also. So it's going to be up to you what you want to do. This at least you can see in store, but this is showing up in store too. I saw somebody pick this up at Barnes & Nobles already. So the bluefin stock looks like it's starting to come in a lot of places. That is cool, so definitely give that a check if you can, if you're gonna go with the SH Monsterarts. But I'll tell you, it's very hard to see it in the box because his eyes are tiny. So yeah, they do stand about at the same height, so it's not so bad then. You know, his head's a little bit bigger. You can see this, at least one eye, you know, in the box. So if you do see it in store, give this a check as well. But yeah, the paint I do think is better here, and to me more accurate to what I saw in the movie itself. Articulation, I mean, this is a no contest. The SH Monsterarts has a lot more articulation, and it works very well. This is, you know, like the same articulation as the original figure with a lot of tail movement, which is good, but the tail is also much more floppy here than it is on here. Although I've heard some people have some floppy SH Monsterarts tails, you know, like, you know, what I do have here as far as in terms of problems, if you didn't watch my review, is I do have one loose foot here and one really tight shoulder. Here I don't, besides the tail really, I don't have too many like problems with like articulation or whatnot, but you know, the lack of articulation might be a problem. That's not the biggest deal for me, but you know, overall this obviously has the better articulation. So that pretty much covers it. I'm really gonna keep this simple because I think I've said a lot in both of these reviews, and both of these reviews have come very recently. I'm gonna link them up here at the end so you can get a better understanding overall of, you know, the finer details of these guys. But just to go over it again, I do feel like this SH Monsterarts is better than the NECA, and the problem, you know, will lie with, you know, in your decision making on price, because with the G62 I wholeheartedly recommended going with the Neca because it's really good. Even though I like personally the SH Monsterarts, I really like that Neca a lot. It's a really great figure. Both might end up in my tops of the year. I don't know. Here, this Neca, based on what I have, at least personally, I cannot recommend. You might get one with good eyes, and then you're probably happy, you know, because you do have a lot of paint on it. I don't think the paint is right, but you do have a lot of it, you know, if that's what you care about. It's a really nice wash. So overall, I do recommend getting the SH Monsterarts. I think it's pretty awesome. You know, like, I really liked it. I had a lot of good things to say about it. I did have a lot of good things to say about the Neca too, there's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, now it's some time to think about both of them. I think the SH Monsterarts is better. They are offering this guy at a little bit of a cheaper price point than a lot of the more recent Godzillas have been. So that's something to consider, guys. It is a little cheaper right now than some of the other ones that we've gotten recently. So that's the good thing. It's still pricey, but that's something, you know, like if you're gonna do a comparison video, you gotta really, you know, throw out the window, because it's like you're comparing. If you want to compare them, you gotta just say, you know, like, while the price is a factor, totally a factor for some people, there's stuff that's even pricier than this stuff. At the end of the day, the SH Monsterarts isn't that pricey in comparison. You know, if you're a working collector, you know, you should be able to afford it. And I'm not saying, you know, I can't talk for everybody's situation, so I you know, that's bad for me to assume that anyway. And that's why I don't like doing these comparison videos, because I can't assume your situation. And it's wrong for us as reviewers to just go in there and just single out 2 figures or 3 figures and say, hey, this is the best one, you have to go with this one. It's not fair to do that, because I don't know. I know myself, I know what I could afford. I can't know what you could afford, and that's where a lot of this argument stems from in any of this stuff, because some people can't afford, let's say, the SH Monsterarts, so they'll like back up their choice of the Neca, like, with their lives, you know, and you get a lot of argument in like comments and groups and whatnot. You know, everybody going crazy, you know, putting down SH Monsterarts whenever they can, and they deserve it sometimes, not all the time. You know, like, I've gotten plenty of great figures from SH Monsterarts. I love the line. It is my #1 line to collect. I almost don't miss anything from the line, you know, besides a couple of repaints, maybe 3 of the repaints. Like, I have everything, that, you know, like, it's awesome. It's really, really good, you know, and there's nothing. I spend my own money on this stuff, so there's no bias here. I'll buy this too because I love getting them. And this is, like, you know, been just one of the bad Neca Godzillas, and there hasn't been too many of those. So I gotta say, that's really good. So if you like the Neca Godzillas, don't go crazy about the SH Monsterarts. Don't care about it. Don't, you know, try to put it down to make yourself feel better because maybe you can't get it. Just go get your Neca. Be happy. The same thing with the SH Monsterarts. Don't go crazy about the Neca, and, like, that's the other thing. It's like, you know, there's the elitism that comes with some people that only get import figures and will put down, you know, the domestic figures whenever they can. So this is why I don't like doing these videos anymore. It's just, it's become a lot of that, and I don't think the views are worth it for you guys to get into the argument that you're gonna get into regardless in the comments, because it's just, you know, at the end of the day, guys, we're all Godzilla fans, and I support you buying anything Godzilla. So there you go, guys. That's my comparison video. My choice is SH Monsterarts, but it doesn't matter. Whatever is your choice is the right choice. There you go, guys. Till next time, peace out, peeps. Oh, hey, little addendum, guys. So the SH Monsterarts does come with effect parts, whereas the other one, the Neca, does not. So, you know, that's more points towards the SH Monsterarts. But the Neca, it's because NECA's coming out with their own you know, Atomic Blast one, you do get this stuff with the SH Monster, so it adds to the value. So there you go.